it's astonishing. If you look at ONS data, looking at the rates of lone parent households for children aged up to 15, the rate within the Black Caribbean origin population is as high as 63%.
Mm.
And it goes all the way down to 6% for their peers of Indian origin. For the white British mainstream, if I remember correctly, it's 19%. So one in five, which for me is still uncomfortably high. So I think what it really shows is that there are significant disparities within the wider non-white population when it comes to family structure. And I think we really need to look at family structure and household culture when it comes to analysing youth outcomes, whether it's mental health, physical well-being, cognitive development, level of education attainment, and then further down the line, labour market integration in adulthood. And I think it's a real shame that in recent times, British social policy has been very much focused on protected characteristics, especially race and ethnicity, when I almost think that family has become it's a non-topic in our mainstream politics. I think I'll tell you who are the biggest culprits. Progressive leftist politicians who say, "Oh, there's a variety of family models which are very successful." Yes, successful families can come in different shapes and sizes. Now, if you're raised in a stable two-parent household, you're not guaranteed to be a remarkably successful individual. Equally, if you're raised in a lone parent household, and I really want to make this point, this isn't about stigmatizing single mothers in particular, many of whom try their utmost to raise their children in a good and proper way under very difficult circumstances. But I think we need to be honest about which family models are most strongly associated with positive youth outcomes, whether it's level of education attainment, not getting involved in the criminal justice system, and then making progress in life when it comes to employment. I think it's very clear that a stable two-parent household, ideally headed by a married couple, which reduces the chances of the couple breaking down, that is most strongly associated with positive youth outcomes and young people's personal development. I think it's a crying shame that progressive politicians who actually have that upbringing, who have also themselves got married and have had children within wedlock, then say, "Oh, but anything goes." I think that it's a grave injustice in itself.
No, I agree with you. I had a chapter in my first book on marriage and why it's good. I didn't really talk about I didn't go into as much detail as you have done in terms of child outcomes and stuff. I was really making an argument actually of it being good for women. Um, but the number of times I got criticised for that specific argument by people who are themselves married and have had clearly recognised the personal advantages that can come with
Mm.
marriage, let alone the advantages to your children. But yes, there's a sort of there's a hypocrisy there, I think, from progressive elites who don't want to mandate the choices that they themselves prefer.
Oh no, absolutely. I think they're more focused on appearing trendy, fashionable, and overly inclusive. And I think that when it comes to social policy making, we can't be guided by people's efforts to appear overly virtuous in the public sphere. We have to be honest
Mm.
about what works best when it comes to the progression of our young people in Britain. And it's very clear that evidence is there. Think tanks such as the Centre for Social Justice, fantastic organisation, has produced a lot of relevant research. The evidence is very clear that family structure matters a great deal. And I think that it's a real shame that our politicians simply don't talk about that enough. And I also think it's a shame, Louise, if you'd allow me to make this point, that we have many so-called traditionalists in the Conservative Party who are more than happy to make Boris Johnson leader of the so-called Conservative Party.
Mm.
And I think it's very difficult for any Conservative government to really run with a family-centric social policy when you have a significant section of the British political right idolising a man with a very chaotic family and indeed marital history.